Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Checking In with Tommy Else. I am your host. Who else but Tommy Else? Hope everybody is doing well, hanging in there. It's a pretty decent day here in Glen Ellen, Illinois. A little windy, but the sun is out, and I think that helps. It's like you want it to be nice out, but you don't want it to be too nice out because you don't want to feel like you're missing something. Uh, but uh, but it's been pretty nice the last few days, and yeah, we're all just keeping on. Thank you to everybody who checked out the last episode, our first episode with Bill Harris Jr. This episode is available both in video format and audio format. So you can either watch or listen to this one. Some of these will go either way. Some people can do video. Some people don't want to be on video, but they're all available on audio via my SoundCloud account, and just look up Tommy Else. So let's. There's not a lot to say right now outside of getting into today's guest. Let's talk about him. Today's guest is one of my closest friends. He's a good friend. I've known him since 2012, I want to say. We met through Resistance Pro Wrestling. We were both a part of that. He was a manager and the leader of his own faction, Special Forces. He was one of my opponents in my very first pro wrestling match. We both have. He's got roots in Glen Ellen, where I live. He lives up in Evanston. He's a few years older than me, just to give you an idea of not much, like literally like a few years older than me. I'm 40, but just to give you an idea of the demographics of the people I'm talking to, and I think it kind of, we never said anything specific, but I think it kind of came out in conversation. Bill, who I interviewed on the last show, we were in high school together and stuff, so that gives you an idea of where we're at. So, but today's guest, Jesse, and I, we met through wrestling, but we became very quick friends, and have remained so ever since, and check in with each other weekly, just every few days. To be honest, I got to give credit to Jesse because he's much better about checking in than I am. So today's episode is me trying to give back a little to the guy because he's always checking to see how I'm doing, even under the most normal and best of circumstances. And I always appreciate getting a text from him just saying, hey. So Jesse has worked 25 years at the Hyatt in Chicago, and he is at home like everybody else is right now, and but is in a situation where so many other people are, in that he has, there's nothing he can do for money. His income is been taken away, given the pandemic and all. And we'll talk about that during the interview. But just to give you an idea where he's coming from. So, without further ado, here is my interview with my good friend, Mr. Jesse Andersen. All right. I am here with my good friend, Jesse Andersen. Jesse, how are you? How are you doing right now in the middle of this pandemic?
I'm doing okay. Just it's a bit of a struggle, mainly financially, but luckily somebody from my union helped me set up for unemployment, and I should be getting payment soon.
Oh, very good. Very good. So just to give some people a little background, you work for the Hyatt, right?
The Hyatt Regency Chicago,
Right.
which is of course in Chicago, but the reason why it's affected me this whole pandemic has affected me is to supposedly stop the spread of the coronavirus. The governor um, made an executive order to have all restaurants and bars
Yeah,
in all of Cook County, I think, or actually more like all over the state, shut down.
yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure it's statewide. Yeah, it's. I mean, and how do you feel about that? Do you think that's the a smart move?
Well, it's hurting me. It's been tough on me, but I can understand
Yeah,
because um, restaurants and bars, especially when it's in a hotel, that's like basically a petri. Those are like petri dishes.
yeah. Everybody's all right on top of each other, and a lot of where you hear so many of the cases being spread are in places like nursing homes and places where people are all short and small, confined
Yeah, yeah.
spaces. You know, there's not a lot of windows and airflow and things like that, and so it makes sense that the hotels would go down with that. Um, how has it been for you staying in? You know, like how are you getting food and how are you,
What?
how are you
I've
getting
been
by?
able to like. Thankfully, I've been able to uh, be able to afford groceries, and I was able to get some bills paid.
Good.
But I'll tell you, I owe it all to my parents and well, one I owe big thanks to my parents and Ashley for getting me that awesome flat screen TV. I
Yes.
should say my parents,
I'm
my
sure that's,
brother and Ashley for
yeah.
getting me that flat screen TV, and also
You got that for Christmas, right?
yeah, no,
And I'm sure
and
that's coming in. I'm sure that's coming in handy right now, huh?
especially with all the um, TV available to me,
Yeah.
because my my brother and his now wife Ashley got me um, got me Disney Plus, and
Right.
I have Netflix through my parents
Nice.
and through my cable service. I have all kinds of new stuff
Good. So you
to
get
watch.
much. Nice. Have you been going out at all just for like a walk or anything, or are you just staying in
Yeah, mostly
100%?
when I go out, when I go out to do errands, I tend to. That's my exercise.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been going out on a walk every day. You know, you know where I live, and so I go out from my place down to Lake Ellen and then walk back. So, you know, and everybody's pretty good. You know, if you cross paths with anybody, they're you know everyone is keeping their distance and you know doing the six feet away and
Speaking
everything.
of which, speaking of which, it seems like they're taking that hardcore at my parents' place.
Oh, in the apartment built in their condo.
Yeah, their condo building.
Yeah, yeah,
Everybody stands 6 feet apart when they talk,
yeah.
and now they have this little safety rule that like one person or one group at a time in their
Sure.
elevator.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I know that building really well, actually. So yeah, I can imagine. With with this going on, yeah, I mean, you're in a position where you are getting hit hard financially, and this is one of the things I wanted to talk about with you and some other people is, you know, there's so many people who are in jobs right now where they don't have an option. You know, when you don't have work, you just there's nowhere else for you to go. Now you're a part of a union, so
Yeah,
so
which
they
is
help.
great.
And you said they helped get you signed up for unemployment benefits, or
Yeah, yep, and that should really help. You know,
yeah.
be able to get bills paid and my mortgage payments to my mom taken care of.
So this also means that you're not able, because I know you that you come out usually once a week to come visit your folks in person, and I'm imagine I'm this is probably keeping you from getting to do that right now, right?
Well, yeah, they've always are welcoming to have me. It's just with this pandemic going on and my parents being older and my dad having recently been
It's
hospitalized
yeah.
for pneumonia.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, it's a good idea. I'm sure I'm sure they would love having you, of course. You know, but
But they're yeah,
it
but
is a good idea. But it's
they're
got to be.
very susceptible.
But
I
it
know
is. Oh yeah. No, they're right in the
if I'm
wheelhouse.
saying that right. But yeah, they're both in their 70s,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure when you're that old, your immune system isn't that strong.
Well, that's what they're saying. Yeah, is that yeah, the immune system and that age group seems to be the ones that are the highest risk apparently, and so it makes perfect sense for you to have your distance. But I know you're very close with them, so I imagine that it's probably tough to not get to see them as much as you usually do. Have you done any kind of video chats with them or anything, or you just been talking on the phone or?
Just texting, but I recently downloaded on the behest of a coworker of mine at work. I finally downloaded the Google Duo thing.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I've been
It's
using.
pretty cool.
Yeah, I've been using that with all of my clients actually. It's a real simple way to do video chats. So I try to keep
Probably
this.
simpler than Skype too.
Yeah, no, it is really. I mean, it's like once the contact's in there, you hit the button and away you go, and that's it. So,
I
uh,
know.
so yeah. Well, and so besides besides watching TV, what else have you been doing to kill the time? Anything?
Um, that's it.
Yeah.
But been keeping me busy. I must have watched um, two um season long worth two series of about the same World War II.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But and the amazing thing is, I guess they touched things up and they were in color.
I've heard
So
about that. Yeah, I've heard about that. I am curious to see that. I heard that one was really good, actually. The one that's in color.
they're keeping me busy, you know.
Yeah. Um. Well, that's cool. What else? Anything else you've been watching?
Well, I got into this show called this um, sh- cartoon series by the creator of Matt Groening, who created The Simpsons
Hmm.
and Futurama. It's um, you know how it's like Futurama is like um in the future. I guess well, Disenchantment is
Right.
basically during medieval times.
Okay, so it's kind of the reverse of
Yeah,
what.
and it's like and you can literally almost recognize some of the voices too,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure there's
like
some probably.
Bender's voice and
Yeah.
um dim-witted Ralphie's voice. You can
Hmm.
recognize that.
Yeah. How do you feel? How do you feel the government and all the people in charge of everything are handling this whole situation right now?
Uh, I would say the Trump administration deserves um, worse than enough.
Yeah. What do you think they could have done better?
Well, instead of um, spending months, all those time, just calling it a hoax and everything, and saying it will just go away, they could have um, actually done something.
Yeah.
That's what I believe.
Well,
Everybody has their own opinion, but that's how I see it.
yeah.
He
Yeah.
wasted so much. The Trump administration wasted so much time.
Yeah, there's a lot of polarizing views about that, you know, as to whether or not some people feel like they acted too slow, like you're saying, and there's other people who think that they acted faster than they would have expected or something. So,
Because I think all that he just used all that time calling it out to his face,
Right. So we're probably about a month, maybe a little more than a month in this. We haven't been quarantined for quite that long, but I mean, it's been a little more than a month at least since this thing really became a serious issue that people were taking seriously. And
Yeah,
now we're at least almost 4 weeks maybe of being inside. Um, you know, we still got a ways to go. It looks like. I mean, I personally think we got at least another month or two easy before they're gonna lift anything on the restrictions and stuff.
yeah.
You said you're already kind of getting a little stir crazy at home. You know, what do you think about another 2 months of this? You know, if it goes that long.
Uh, as well as long as I get some supplemental income coming in from unemployment, and I keep finding new shows to get into.
Yeah. So as long as the bills are paid and there's TV to watch, you'll be okay.
Yep.
Well,
You know what?
that's kind of where I'm at too. I feel like, look, I as long as the bills are being paid, I'm fortunate enough that I am able to still work and still make some money right now, which is good. And if as long as I can keep paying the bills and stay healthy, and there's things for me to do.
Yeah,
As long as they don't tell me I can't go for my walks, that's when I'll really go crazy. If I can go on my walk once a day, I'm good. But
I'm
I am,
surprised though that I'm hearing that from my parents that they've been getting um tough on people trying to take the prairie path.
yeah, and I think the reason for that is, and for people who don't know what the prairie path is, if you're listening or watching, the prairie path is it's a bike path, walking path that it's very extensive. It goes all throughout various counties in Illinois, so it's a great place to go for a walk and everything. But the problem is that the prairie path at its widest is probably about maybe 10 feet tops. And if you get two people walking next to each other, most of those people are, if they're friends or whatever, they're not walking 6 feet apart from each other. If they are, and then there's people coming through on bikes, there's other people walking by. It's really hard in that confined space to have people have the distance that they're supposed to have. So that makes sense to me. It is too bad because it is a great place to get out and go for a walk or
Yeah,
go for a bike ride. But it does make sense to me because, like I said, I mean it can get pretty narrow at some parts, but even at its widest, it's still not very. It doesn't give a lot of space to walk around. Now where I'm at, I mean I'm out on the street and the sidewalks for the most part, so I mean I can cross to the other side of the street. Sometimes I'll step aside and I'll just let people walk past.
yeah,
So I at least have that option. You know, but as long as that's still okay, then I can hang in there with this for a while. So and then this is another thing I'm doing to help kind of get through it is talk to people like you and
yeah.
connect with
I enjoy
people.
talking to you.
Yeah, and send people, call people, send people text, just let them know thinking about them. And I think that as divided or as isolated as we all are individually, I think that it is forcing us to do a little bit more than text each other, instead of just um, you know shooting a text once in a while. People are actually starting to pick up the phone for once now and call each other or
Yeah,
get on a video chat and see each other's face. And so it's good to see a little more communication and everything, and people sharing a little love with one another.
of course.
You know,
It's a good way to be during this time.
yeah. Well, before we wrap up, what would you say is? I'm going to ask you two questions. The first one is, what would you say has been the hardest part about this whole thing for you so far?
Plain and simple. Not working.
Yeah. And is it not working just from the financial standpoint or from not having anything to do?
Well, I guess you could say Well,
or is
for
it
me,
a little of both?
I guess the best way to put this is, well, maybe the financial part, but also, my biggest fear is, well, people keep trying to calm my nerves sometimes, but my biggest fear out of all this is, well, long story short, I know how I've had this, I've been with Hyatt for 25 years,
Right.
and for so long I've um, had this nice cushion, a seniority cushion where, um, even in the dismal onshore weeks, I would always at least get 4 or 5 days.
Right.
But then this comes along, and wreaks havoc on my schedule, and
Right.
that's what, and my biggest fear about is like not having a job anymore after this, you know?
Yeah, yeah, and that's something a lot of people are battling with is potential job security when they come back. Will their job still be there for them? I would like to think that it's going to take a while for the industry you're in to kind of bounce back,
Yeah,
but
I can imagine that.
I
Yeah, I can
still
imagine
think
that.
that it is a very big necessity, especially in downtown Chicago. And you're in one of the most revered hotels of the city. On top of it, so
Yeah,
I would say that you probably have a good chance of it, and of still having your spot. And again, you also have 25 years under your belt. If they didn't honor that, I would be upset. But I certainly will keep a good thought for you when that time comes. But
yeah,
uh,
definitely.
so my second and final question to you is what do you think, if anything, is the best thing that has come during this time?
Eh, no, not having to, maybe just not having to deal with certain people at work.
Yeah, get a little space, man. It's a little forced vacation, a little space from some people. It might be a little agitating. I get it. That's good. Oh, that's good answer. Good answer. Well, hey man, I love you. I hope you're safe and you're taking care of yourself. I'm glad that you're getting by. I'm glad you're going to get some assistance. And
Me too. Me too.
what I plan on doing is after a little bit of time and we start coming out the other end of this thing, I'm going to come back and check in with everyone I do these interviews with and see how they're doing. So we're gonna do another follow up interview at some point and check in with you and see how it's going. All right, bud.
All right, you know what? Hey, bro. How about as a way to? I'm thinking as a way to celebrate. Um, maybe I'm thinking we do a maybe do a um dinner and Netflix night. You know how like when you came here for dinner that one time,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're a
and
hell of a cook, man.
and then maybe afterwards, if you still feel like it, we can watch a movie on my big TV together.
Hell yeah, man. Oh, I'm all about it. I can't wait. See, and this is another thing I think that's good is I think that after this, people are going to want to start doing more stuff in person with each other. And you're going to start seeing people hanging out a little bit more. We'll see how long
Yeah,
it lasts, but I think the initial blast will be people hanging out and doing stuff. So I definitely am up for it. You're a great cook. You're a gracious host to no end, and I know we'll have an awesome time. So we'll do that when this thing passes. So
definitely, brother. I love
all
you,
right,
dude.
man. Well, thanks for being on the show and thanks for talking and sharing your story with everybody. And we'll be back and check in with you hopefully sooner than later. Hopefully this ends soon. And in the meantime, be well. I love you.
I love
And
you too, brother.
all right, we'll talk soon. Take it easy.
Okay.
All right, buddy. So that was my interview with Jesse Andersen. Thank you again to Jesse for coming on the show and sharing his story and his perspective on this whole pandemic situation. I'm glad to see that he's holding up well. I know he's real proud of that television he got for Christmas, and I'm glad that it's there for him. It was a good move. His brother and sister-in-law and his folks all went in on a nice TV for him and hooked him up with Disney Plus and stuff like that. And he's uh, he's a happy guy with that. So I'm glad he's staying busy and staying well. I'm also glad to hear that he's being able to tap into the unemployment that's going out. The figures I heard today were that I think they had over 6 million people applying for unemployment right now, and I know that they've kind of loosened the restrictions a little on how that's being uh, given out, but my I don't quite qualify for it. I don't think because I am still making enough money to where it wouldn't, uh, I don't know. I'm not quite sure how it applies with me, but he's someone who definitely is in a position that he needs that. My concern with that stuff always is, the government moves at a snail's pace under the best of circumstances. So how are they going to deal with this huge flood of unemployment claims? So I don't know. We'll see. I hope that somehow they're able to, fast track a lot of this stuff and just get the money in these people's pockets quicker than not. But if you're someone who's out there in a similar position and have any insight on it, please definitely let me know. You can hit me up at Twitter at Tommy_else. You can find me on Facebook at Tommy Else, and let me know. How are you dealing with it? Are you have you applied for unemployment? Are you how have you gotten an ETA at all on what that how long it might take? um, or anything else, any other questions you might have in regards to this episode or a previous one. We got a lot of people lined up for this, and I am grateful that there's so many people who are willing to talk and share their stories and their scenarios with other people. I think that we'll find as we go through this that everybody's got a different situation, everybody's got a different story. Um, Everybody finds a way to shine. It don't matter that you got not a lot. So what? They'll have theirs, you'll have yours, and I'll have mine. And together we'll be fine. So until next time, thank you for tuning in to to checking in with Tommy Ellis. I have been your host. Who else but Tommy Ellis? And I will see you next time. Peace and love.